And that was the Macomb Community College Choir performing the national anthem tonight as we welcome you into this Friday edition of baseball here on the USPBL YouTube channel. It's Friday, June 21st, and not only is it the first day of summer, it's also the longest day of 2019. Hi, everybody. My name is Leo Ortel, and in a minute, I'll be joined by my broadcast partner, Rich Borland, to bring you the call here on Teacher Appreciation Night at Jimmy John's Field. Tonight, it will be the Eastside Diamond Hoppers taking on the Westside Woolly Mammoths as Eastside plays in back-to-back games today and will look for another good offensive night. But they will also look for their starter Noah Goetzies to tally another quality start. Goetzies enters the ballgame with a 2-0 record and comes in ranked 4th in ERA at a 2.45 mark. Paul Nochi and the Hoppers got back to a .500 record yesterday with their 9th win of the season, so they will look to gain more ground on the first-place Utica Unicorns tonight. And coming off a 9-5 victory over the Unicorns on Wednesday, the Mammoths will look to continue their offensive surge thanks to the bats of Alec Craig, Sonny Cortez, and Jake Pulshin at the top of their lineup. We will, however, see a new arm on the bump today as Matt Cronin, the product out of UMass Dartmouth, makes his USPBL debut. After putting up great numbers in college, Cronin will look to continue his success at the professional level, but he'll be facing off against the hot Eastside lineup. So we should be in for another good one on this beautiful night for baseball. I'm going to send it over now to Rich to give us more info on tonight's starting pitching matchup.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Goetzies proven it at this level through his first 5 outings on the season. Tied for second in the USPBL with 5 starts on his record. He's got a 2.45 ERA, which is good for 4th in the league. You mentioned that 2-0 record, clearly perfect throughout his time thus far. He has only given up 24 hits in 22 innings. But here's the kicker, Leo. Out of the 24 hits, only 3 have been extra bases. So 21 singles and 3 extra base hits. Oh, yes, and those 3 extra base hits, all doubles. So he's yet to give up a home run or a triple in his USPBL time, as he's also only allowed 4 walks with 20 strikeouts to his totals on the year. And he's got the second best walks per innings pitched in the league with 1.64. As we look to see him go off tonight. Matt Cronin on the other end of it, getting his USPBL debut here tonight. As we mentioned, the UMass Dartmouth native, he had some really good numbers in his time there with them, as he went 12-6 over his tenure in 4 years and had a 1.83 ERA as he throws in the first pitch of the game for called strike 1 by Rob Lothian, our home plate umpire. First pitch, 7:05 p.m. It's sunny and 75 here at the ballpark. Perfect night for baseball, just like we drew it up, as Adams looks at the second consecutive pitch. This one misses the zone as well, as Cronin looking like he's throwing some strikes early on. We'll see if Eastside can take care of that, as Adams does it with 2 strikes against him. Man who's got the second best batting average coming into play tonight, getting things going early for Eastside, as he's got 6 hits on the season. Came into tonight with the second most hits behind Sonny Cortez with 25. And he's also got the second most runs in the league this year with 13 of them. He's looking to score run number 14 coming up here with his buddy Wesley Jones coming up to the plate.
And Pat Adams only had 3 doubles coming into this game. And, Rich, you mentioned that high hit total, but Pat Adams with just the 1 home run and 3 doubles coming in, so a good sign for him showing off that extra base power. And it puts him on second with Wesley Jones at the plate. And this is a time that you got to capitalize early on into this ballgame.
Without a doubt, as Jones swings at the first try, he's realizing that Cronin's going to be throwing a lot of strikes tonight, but he can't get anything out of it. He's down 0-1 to start. Jones in the game last night against Birmingham Bloomfield, just 1 for 5 with a single, a walk, but did strike out 3 times, as well as having a ground out. He's tied for 5th in a couple of categories on this season, 11 runs so far this year, and as well as 20 hits here with Eastside. He's fitting perfectly in that 2 spot with Eastside, as this one gets past the catcher Jackson Smith, but a good comeback there from the brick wall behind him, as just getting in there safely is Adams, with Kemp trying to make the quick tag. Might as well give you the defensive alignment while we're at it. Left to right in our outfield for Westside, Will Johnson, Sonny Cortez, Javon Shelby. Left to right on the infield, you got Kemp, Dobson, Craig, and Pulshin, with Jackson Smith as a part of the battery there with Matt Cronin. Jones trying to make something happen now with his teammate over on third. Cronin with an off-speed delivery. That's his slider He'll miss with it upstairs at 81. He delivers 2 fastballs, the 4-seam, the 2-seam, but does have the slider. So just a 3-pitch repertoire for a guy who had a 1.83 ERA through 4 seasons at his college. But having trouble to start the night as the Hoppers with 2 really good at-bats. An 0-2 double off the wall for Pat Adams, and Wesley Jones works the walk to bring runners to the corners. Cronin definitely needs a ground ball here to at least get an out somewhere.
And the Hoppers entering this game don't have much of a scouting report on Cronin. All you can really look at are his numbers in college, which were really good, as Rich mentioned. As I talked to Brian Kluppy, the assistant coach for the Mammoths last week, he recognized that their team was adding a lot of starting pitchers that were strike throwers, and Cronin so far is having trouble finding the zone, but I'm sure that Brian Kluppy and Mark Wiedemeyer of the Mammoths have kind of seen him mainly as a strike thrower based on his numbers in college.
First 4 pitches of the night were strikes, 3 to Adams, and then the first pitch to Jones, but then 4 straight to Jones, and then 1 more to Gray, as he does find the zone once again with pitch number 9 on the night as Gray swings through it. Gray in the contest last night against Birmingham Bloomfield in their 14-10 victory. He was batting in this same spot, went just 1 for 5 like Jones, had a single, a walk, an RBI. Did not strike out, though, as he had 2 groundouts. A fly out as this runner's going to second without a throw. What an amazing jump there by Wesley Jones as he takes the stolen base over there at second base so far on the season for Wesley Jones. He's 3 of 3, counted 4 for 4.
Yeah, pretty impressive stuff right there. And credit to the first base coach of the Hoppers for recognizing maybe that Matt Cronin was working into a pretty good rhythm out there from the stretch, and they were kind of able to pick up on his timing and take advantage of it.
This one hit out of play. Well, early on that one was Gray, so the count even at 2-2. You got the base open at first, but if you're Cronin, do everything in your power to get a strikeout here. Mention he had 182 strikeouts in 176 innings pitched at UMass Dartmouth, so about a strikeout per inning, if you will, as he will get his first USPBL strikeout. Victim is Zach Gray, 1 down here in this top of the first. Luke Johnson coming up now. He, as well as the 2-man in front of him, went 1 for 5 last night. So Jones, Gray, and Johnson all going 1 for 5. But Johnson, his solo shot was a base knock there, as he also had a fly out to left, but did have 3 strikeouts. So not a bad night, but no night is good when you strike out 3 times, no matter how else you fare, as he's got an opportunity to come up clutch and deliver the first runs of the game for Nochi, as the slider misses away there as Cronin starts off Luke Johnson with a ball. So we go to hitter's count to start his night. Luke Johnson on the season. He's only played in a couple of games in total with Eastside. 4 starts, 5 games overall, as he looks at ball 2 quickly. 5 for his first 18 with 3 runs scored, 1 double, 1 home run, 2 RBIs, 1 walk to 6 strikeouts. But back-to-back pitches outside of the zone for Cronin. 1 slider, 1 fastball. Let's see what he brings here. Look to be that slider again, as this one is over the plate. And he brings the count back to 2-1. So Johnson got to be ready now for anything, because the fastball was not thrown for a strike. You got the slider that ends up getting 1 for 1. As 2-1 misses upstairs. So another tough count here for Cronin. And I'm sure the nerves playing a little bit of a role for him tonight, making his first pro start.
Especially coming from a D3 school, you don't have too many fans at your game, and it's a big difference out there for these guys.
Yeah, sold-out crowd here tonight at Jimmy John's Field as Johnson swings through that pitch. So a good job by Cronin to battle back. Gorgeous night for baseball here at the park. Sunny,
really
75. Barely a cloud in the sky tonight.
Hopefully summer's here to stay on this first day of summer, too.
Yeah, summer solstice. This one taken for a ride out to left. Will Johnson at the wall. He jumps up, but he can't make the catch. Rounding third, headed for home is Adams. And then Jones behind him, the 1 hop over there to Kemp. The throw to the plate in the dirt, as that one could have definitely been a play at the plate, but it ends up not faring in favor of Westside. Both Adams and Jones coming in to score. Luke Johnson coming up clutch here with his full count opportunity as he gets into second with the double.
Yeah, solid piece of hitting for Johnson. And since the College Senior Showcase a couple of weeks ago now, some of the Hoppers' bats have struggled, but overall the Hoppers have really picked it up as a team, and Luke Johnson hasn't really had to make a ton of adjustments so far since entering the league. He's kind of been on a tear, and he's a good cleanup bat for these Hoppers now with the first 2 runs of the game driving him in.
So here comes Freddie Geely, the Troy, Michigan product. Went 1 for 3 last night with a double, 2 walks. Did strike out looking once, but scored a run. Did have a stolen base. Not a bad night for Geely. As you see, Cronin bringing that leg up and going over there to second to keep tabs on Johnson. Not sure if it was more focused on Luke at second or maybe to see if Geely was going to show the bunt in a situation that you could see it happen, but already 2 runs in the inning. Geely's batting well so far this season, 294 in total. That's good for second on the team behind Adams, but everybody's chasing Pat, the Wayne State native, as the 1-1 inside almost got a piece of Geely on the pant leg as the Hoppers in their black tops, gray bottoms, and their away uniforms, Mammoths in their home whites. As the wind bellows in here at the ballpark from center field. Not sure how many long balls we'll see tonight as Geely ready for the 2-1. Fouls it off over to the left on the 87-mile-an-hour fastball. Mentioned Cronin with a 4-seam, a 2-seam, and a slider. Not sure how much success it'll bring when you only have 2 fastballs and 1 off-speed pitch, but he's going to do everything in his power to make his name known here in a Mammoth uniform. The 2-2. In on the hands, opportunity for Ryan Kemp. He's backtracking, and he can't make the catch. Sort of that Willie Mays-style basket catch on the run from behind. As Geely will stay alive for 1 more. It just gets through the hands.
Tough play there. Not many guys will get to that ball, but Ryan Kemp obviously with good speed. And he still is getting used to the third base position. He is a second baseman by trade, and he has struggled a little bit as far as throwing from that position, but otherwise Ryan Kemp is a very solid defender.
5'4".
Yep.
But he makes it work.
Doesn't matter your height as long as you can play the game.
Size of the heart is what matters, Leo. That is for certain. As Cronin brings it in, this one back up the middle. That's an effective out as Geely is retired on the 4-3 putout for out number 2, but he does get his teammate Johnson that much closer into scoring position, and if Daniel Valerio can get a base knock, that ground out from Geely will not go unnoticed.
Yeah, Valerio has kind of struggled to start the season, hitting just 133 and also entering with a 235 on-base percentage. Hasn't had a lot of opportunities so far. He is 2 for 15 in his 5 games played so far and 4th start. So this is now his 5th start as he came in with 4.
Valerio ready for the first pitch. Fastball at 90, missing well upstairs. Cronin tried to bring a little bit back on that one, but it is well up. Jackson Smith brings it back to him. Friday night here at the ballpark. Fireworks after the game, but hoping to see some during it as well as Valerio on the 1-0 fouls it off. Up and out of play as Valerio last night, 1 for 4 with a single, a walk. And then he also came in to score 2 separate times. His 3 outs on the night, a ground out, a strikeout, and reaching on a fielder's choice. As this one, the slider at 83, misses away. You saw Valerio kind of start to think about it, and then he holds off in time. Works a good hitter's count. So if you're Cronin here, you got to make sure you throw a strike. Don't want to get too far behind in this count as that fastball, not a bad spot, but just enough to miss the outside corner. Good call there by Rob Lothian, who was right on it.
And with the 3-1 count, Valerio's going to look for that one pitch, and you can see the outfield depth they're playing quite a bit in here. Valerio with not a ton of extra base power, but.
And this one just past the outstretched glove of Kemp. Tough inning defensively right there in that at-bat against Valerio as Johnson comes in to score. Valerio with the RBI single. Nice hard-hit ball in the Hoppers with the 3 spot here in the top of the first with their man Noah Goetzies waiting to get his start. For a guy who's got a 2.45 ERA through 22 innings pitched, sounds like a good night for Eastside.
Yeah, that's for sure. And yesterday in last night's contest against the Beavers, it was the Beavers who struck first, but the Hoppers ended up kind of coming back and were pretty much in control for the most of that game, but it'll be a little bit easier for them especially for their starting pitcher, Goatsies, with already the 3-run lead, and we're not even through the first inning.
It's crazy how much the story has changed since that college senior showcase. It was all pitching for the most part, and especially with Utica leading the charge, obviously between Contreras and Goatsies on Eastside, getting it done. Neely had a really good start to the season for the most part. I mean, these guys really were on sort of cruise control through the first couple of weekends, but the offense, like the weather, has gotten a little hot, and we are fortunate of that. A little quick pitch from Cronin, but Huntley, the batter now, looks at that one up and away. Huntley, the only batter in this lineup tonight that was not a part of it. He replaces Steven Ring, who was the DH last night, as Cronin gets the sign from Smith as he's pitching from the stretch. Comes home with it. Called strike one, evens the count up. Huntley on the season thus far, he hasn't batted much. He's only got 3 games under his belt, just 1 for 9 coming into play today, but does have an RBI on his single. No walks to 5 strikeouts as he pops this one up over our heads. He's down in the count 1-2.
And kind of going back to that college senior showcase, I think the hitting has really picked up, and we kind of had this conversation yesterday because these guys are coming out of college. They've been seeing live pitching all year, and for the guys who, entered the league at the beginning of the season, they're coming off an off season where they maybe didn't play, as that will be a stolen base there for Daniel Valerio. But back to that conversation, just the hitters seeing more live pitching, those guys that, came into the league at the start of the season, coming off that off season, maybe didn't play in any winter leagues. You obviously got a few guys that did, but really the bats have been the story the past couple of weeks.
The 2-2 to Huntley. Slider over the plate. Kemp gets it, takes it over to first, and he gets the out recorded. Huntley is retired for the third and final out, but the Hoppers bat 7 in the first. They lead it 3-0 as they get, count them, 3 hits in total. Doubles from Adams, Johnson, and then a single from Valerio. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. To the home half of the first we go. Rich Borland, Leo Ortzel with you. Eastside getting out in front with a 3 spot on 3 hits in the top of the first, as Noah Goatsies with a little cushion to start his night. He'll deal with Alec Craig, Ryan Kemp, Sonny Cortez. As Craig looks at the first couple of pitches, 1 for a ball, 1 for a strike. Noah Goatsies with the 2.45 ERA in his first 5 starts on the season through 22 innings pitched. 2-0 record. Just the 6 earned runs, just the 4 walks to the 20 strikeouts as he tries to get back in this count against Craig. The 2-1 fouled up into the protective netting. Goatse's tied for second with his record, 4th in the league in ERA, 10th in innings pitched. Mentioned in that pregame show, Leo, that Noah Goatse, he's allowed 24 hits in 22 innings, but only 3 have been for extra bases, keeping the contact to a minimum as the 2-2 misses upstairs. Look to be that changeup.
Yeah, walks really have not been a problem for Goatse this season. He walked just 1 batter in 3 innings, which was his last start, which was a short-lived start against the Beavers, so it'll look to go a little bit longer today.
This one into shallow center, Pat Adams underneath it to make the catch for out number 1. That one kind of got caught up in the air as it's Adams, like we just mentioned, in center. To his right in left field is Daniel Valerio. Over to his left in right field is Luke Johnson. Wesley Jones at the hot corner, Kevin Watley at short, Geely at second, Zachary Gray at first, and then Lacongo is the battery mate there with Goatse's as Ryan Kemp stands in. 0 for 4 there on Wednesday in that 9-5 win over Utica. But hey, just because you're 0 for 4 doesn't mean you have a bad night. He had a walk and 2 RBIs as he looks at the first pitch up and in.
Yeah, Kemp started off the season with Birmingham Bloomfield, moved over to Westside, batting .200 since joining the Mammoths, but has provided some good RBI production.
The 1-0 to Kemp. In there, called strike 1 by our home plate umpire, Rob Lothian. Kemp from Middle Tennessee State. As Goatse's, the 1-1 to Kemp. Breaking ball didn't break much at 81. Misses upstairs. And for Goatse's, a guy who, in total he's got success so far this season. The one thing we haven't really been able to see him do is go deep into a game that often, as I know he got his starts a little bit shortened in a couple of games due to weather because of how unlucky we've been so far this year. He hasn't gone more than 6 innings in a start. That was against Birmingham Bloomfield back on the 19th of May, where he went 6 innings, only allowed 1 earned run on 5 hits, no walks, and 5 Ks for the right-handers. This one lined into left. Ryan Kemp gets the first base knock of the night for Westside. It's with 1 out here in the home half of the first.
Yeah, it looked to be back-to-back breaking balls from Goatse. He got the first one low in the zone, and usually he goes to his changeup or his curveball for a strikeout pitch, but he kind of just hung that one over the heart of the plate, and it's kind of rare if you throw the same pitch back-to-back, especially when you've got a few pitches to give, but Ryan Kemp takes advantage of it there for the first hit for the Mammoths tonight.
So the Mammoths in the hit column is Cortez, speaking of hit column, leading the league in so many offensive categories as he looks at called strike 1. Most hits in the league with 28. Best batting average with 412. First in runs scored with 20. Second in on-base percentage with 512. Fourth in slugging at 500. And he's got an OPS over 1.012. As this one is going to end up in the seats right in front of us off to our left. As you can kind of see on the replay there, it landed right near us, just in front of us in the booth, a couple of rows down.
And Cortez, as we mentioned, kind of led off the season in that leadoff spot, but since then has been moved into the 3 spot and didn't have a lot of RBIs coming into the game, but now ranks second in RBIs in the league with 13, and he's really adjusted into that 3 spot nicely.
As the 0-2 to Cortez, something we do not see often. He is rung up on strikes as Cortez, for in total just the 12th time this year, strikes out. Good job there from Goatse's, who we mentioned throws a lot more strikeouts than he does walks. And just on top of that, that much harder to get a guy like Sonny Cortez out, but he does it on 3 straight pitches. So 2 out of 3 to start the evening for Goatse's. The single to Kemp. The only bump in the road thus far is Polshan, your beer batter of the game. Starts his night off 1-0 in the count. For those in the suites and those down in the bathrooms, if you hear a big cheer from the crowd and a shout out from Johnny GRPA announcer saying we got beer, you'll have just $5 craft beers down that third base concourse area. So Friday night, good ball game. Jake Pulsion gets a knock here. Grab one of your favorite beverages down the third base line as the 1-1 swung on and missed. 88 there for Goatsies. Mentioned he's got a two-seam fastball, a changeup, a curveball, and a cutter to his repertoire. Going into tonight's matchup, 36% of the time he throws that two-seam, and wouldn't be a bad spot to bring it in on the hands of Pulsion, who just swung it one away, but he goes upstairs with it at 89. Looked like Goatsies missed his spot by a little bit there.
Yeah, he had 2-strike count on Ryan Kemp, threw him a curveball, and he took advantage of it and kind of missed it over the plate. Sonny Cortez struck out looking on a fastball, and most of Goatsies' strikeouts this season have been with either a changeup in the dirt or a curveball low and away.
As the runner going, but it doesn't matter. Pulshan rung up on strikes. You get Cortez and Pulshan to strike out looking back-to-back. It could be a good night for Noah Goatsies as he takes the 3-0 lead into the second. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We're through one here on this Friday night at the ballpark. Rich Borland, Leo Ortel back with you. If you're just joining us, good start to the night for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. They bat 7 in the first frame against the USPBL debut of Matt Cronin as he starts Tommy Lukongo off with a fastball and then a slider. Quickly has the veteran catcher down 0-2 as it's the 8th hitter who leads off for Eastside in this second inning. We're looking to see a better inning from the UMass Dartmouth native here in this second frame as Lukongo falls off the third try that he seized. Mentioned Cronin coming to us from UMass Dartmouth, the Corsairs, as he was the conference pitcher of the year, gets strikeout number 2 on the night as Lukongo goes down via the swing and the miss. And here comes a guy who only swung and missed in one plate appearance last night in the game against Birmingham Bloomfield, but it was a home run, a single, a walk, and 3 runs scored with 4 RBIs in Kevin Watley. 2 for 4 on the night last night, looking to continue that here this evening.
A great night for Watley, but also a good first at bat in this inning for Matt Cronin, who really was mainly struggling with his command, but went back to the slider there against Lukongo on the 2-strike count, and that slider definitely has some good late break on it.
As Watley goes after the first pitch, the fastball at 88 on the outside part of the strike zone. Down in the count he goes 0-1. Watley getting that batting average up just a little bit after last night as that pitch, 82, looked good, but must have missed by a hair inside as Watley has got 14 hits in 18 games, 11 runs scored, 8 RBIs as he Now down in the count here, 1-2 on that pitch. Cronin looking real sharp here in this second inning. Not sure if much was said to him in the dugout with his team up at the plate, but whatever it was, it's definitely working as he's got 2 strikeouts to start this second inning, 3 on the day as he got Gray back in the first for the first out.
Yeah, he went back to that slider once again. The slider to Lukongo was on the outside corner. That one kind of left over the heart of the plate, but Watley not expecting it, and a tough pitch that looks like it's going to be a ball as it starts out of the zone and curves right back in. So Matt Cronin, 2 Ks, 2 batters. He'll look to send Pat Adams down for the first time. If you remember Pat Adams' first time around, he was down in the count 0-2, but ended up tallying that double, which led off the game.
And he did it with 2 strikes there, too, as Cronin looking to have a better result in this battle against Adams, but not a lot of pitchers have that so far this year. As we mentioned, Adams with that .385 batting average coming into play tonight. Just miraculous with his 25 hits in 19 games. Won't get one here on the 2-0 as he swings a little bit above that one. Fouls that one off. It's 2-1.
And how about that on base percentage to .518. Leads the league now above Sonny Cortez by a hair.
Yeah, Cortez at .512, Adams at 18, and I'll tell you right here and now, it's been basically Pat Adams versus Sonny Cortez in the batting champion conversation. Is this one a broken bat popped up into the mitt of Dobson, and look at that. Matt Cronin, who had 36 pitches in his first frame, gets a 1-2-3 on 2 strikeouts and a pop out to short. As we head to the home half of the second, you're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. To the bottom of the second we go. Trying to get the action early going here is Dan Williams, the man who started the season with the Unicorns. He was a big-time hitter last year for Utica and transitioned into this year as well, batting on the season. Williams, .316 combined between his time with Utica and with Westside. That's good for 6th in the league, but he'll ground out to the first baseman, Zachary Gray, on 1 pitch. Noah Goetze's looking sharp, just 17 pitches through the first inning, 11 of them for strikes with the 2 strikeouts and just the 1 hit allowed from Kemp as he's looking on pitch number 2 of this inning to Javon Shelby. Looks at that one that misses upstairs. Shelby, drafted out of high school, plenty of experience at high levels of baseball. Did not participate in the game on Wednesday. Back in the lineup here today for Mark Wiedemeyer is Shelby. On the season, tied for 4th with 4 doubles. He's also got 2 home runs to his credit. Hits this one up the middle. You see the shift. Freddie Geely playing right up the middle as Zachary Gray looks like he collided a bit there with Shelby, but he ends up getting the out of it as he had to kind of stretch to the left of the bag down the first baseline. And Javon Shelby, not the smallest of individuals, he's got a big frame running down that first baseline, not in terms of big-bodied, but he's strong. He's only 6'1", 195 pounds, but he definitely looks a lot bigger when you're down there on the field with him. As Nochi and our crew over there at DMC, Detroit Medical Center, keeping tabs on Gray. He looks like he's going to be all right, just shooken up a bit as he's been busy here this inning, retiring Williams and then colliding there with Shelby for out number 2. But Goatsy's looking really sharp here with a pair of groundouts through just 4 pitches in this inning, 21 in total.
Yeah, it was kind of an odd play as I'm taking a look at the replay here. The throw was definitely wide to the left, and Shelby was just trying to at least have a chance to touch the bag if he couldn't keep his foot on it. But credit to Zachary Gray for sacrificing the body to get the out, as he was able to keep his foot on the base.
You got to do what you got to do to get the job done. Gray doing that perfectly is Goatsy's. Starts Will Johnson off with a ball with a fastball, and then this one, not sure where it missed, but the curveball not in the zone either. It's 2-0 for Johnson. Sees a fastball, that one called for a strike. It's 2-1. Will Johnson, of course, one of the new guys here for Westside, coming to us from Atlanta, Georgia, as he looks at the next pitch, and that one right on the outside corner as well. So a good job here from Goatsy's to battle back and work on what we hope to see a 1-2-3 inning from the starter, but not if Will Johnson has anything to say about it. Sits on the breaking ball, and that's the kind of difference maker that Will Johnson is. He'll cruise into second, standing up with the double with 2 outs, and I'll tell you right here and now, you can maybe get away with a pitch like that to some guys in this league, but not Will Johnson. He's going to take full advantage of it, as that one was hung up a bit, and he takes it for a ride down the left field line with the 2-out double.
We definitely know Johnson's got that extra base power. At Eastern Kentucky University, he hit 16 home runs his senior year. We've already seen him use his extra base power to his advantage as he hit that big grand slam already this season, one of 3 that have been hit in the league so far in this 2019 campaign.
Saw one last night with Adon Ordonez. Talk about a stat line. Probably one of the best I've seen in a long time. So he starts his night off with a grand slam, driving in 4. Then he gets 3 singles. And then, oh yes, the cherry on top, he walks. Had 4 runs on the day alongside the 4 RBIs. As this one, second pitch swinging on the 1-0 is Smith. It's into right center. Adams underneath it, makes the catch with ease as the 2-out double from Johnson is stranded. And the Mammoths yet to score in this one. It's 3-0 Eastside in this crosstown rivalry. We head to the 3rd. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. 3-0 as we head to the third. Rich Borland, Leo Ortel with you. Wesley Jones, the Colorado Rocky draftee, ends up getting the first pitch into right. Great night for him thus far as he walked, came in to score a run in the first inning as a part of that 3-run frame for Eastside. Gets things going here in the third. And Wesley Jones quietly having a very good season as for much as we talk about Pat Adams.
Hey, he definitely is. Definitely a good two-hitter coming off the tough night last night against the Unicorns, but finds his way on base for the second time. And always good when you get that leadoff man on.
First pitch to Zachary Gray, called strike one right down Broadway as Cronin working in his third inning. 36 pitches in his first frame, just 12 in the second. Polar opposite innings. As in the first, 7 batters come up to the plate. He allows 3 runs on 2 hits, accompanied by a walk. This one lined into left, but hey, Will Johnson, not only can he swing the bat, but he can make the plays in left as well. Already a double tonight, and he slides in safely to make the catch. Gray is retired, and that's a tough out as he was already 0 for 1 with the looking strikeout back in the first.
Yeah, that's definitely a great play out there, and you can see the aggressive approach for the Hoppers. They're not wasting any time here swinging the bat. They recognize that last inning they went down 1-2-3, and Matt Cronin was able to attack the strike zone more, so they're going to look for him to throw more strikes again in this inning and continue to have that aggressive approach, which it worked for them last night, so might as well try it again.
Luke Johnson standing in, fouls off the first try that he sees. It's a really good pitch there from Cronin, in on the hands. It's what we saw him throw to Pat Adams to end the second when he popped out to the shortstop, Ryan Dobson. And he's going to have to throw pitches like that more often if he's going to want to stay throughout this ball game as much as he can go. Of course, over 50 pitches now as he throws that one, misses. Count evens up at 1-1.
Yeah, and that's a good miss, too. You don't want to miss over the heart of the plate. You'd rather miss a little bit high, maybe try to get him chasing, so not a bad miss on the 0-1 count.
This one out there into left center field. Could get excited, but not with a guy like Sonny Cortez out there ranging in center field. And look at the arm as well. He can really do it all. Sonny Cortez, I would say, outside of that, not enough power. He's got 4 tools that are very, very strong in this game. Just needs to work on getting a little bit more juice on it. And he could very well get to that next level as he is such a good, consistent hitter. And he can run down with the best of them out there in the outfield. He's got plenty of speed as Freddie Geely standing in now with 2 outs and a runner on. Tries this one over to the right side. It's foul as he's down 0-1 to start.
And how about this defensive alignment? Pretty normal here on the infield. But look at that outfield, very shallow. We've seen Geely give some balls some rides this year, some almost home runs that he has turned into doubles. He doesn't have any home runs, but he does have the ability to hit doubles.
This one into shallow left field. Will Johnson has to go to his left a bit, but then the wind brings him back to where he started, and he retires Geely with the easy out. Much easier than the first out that he made in the frame, and the single to lead it off from Jones goes unscathed. We head to the home half of the third. Eastside out in front 3-0. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We head to the bottom of the third. Rich Borland, Leo Ortel back with you, and my goodness, there was a lot of break on that pitch right there as Noah Goetze starts off this inning with a massive breaking ball to Ryan Dobson, and then he tries to paint the outside black there with that 0-1, but does not get the call. Dobson, first plate appearance of the night, looks at another high breaking ball there from Goetze. Throws that curveball 20% of the time. It upticked by 2% from his last outing, and he also upticked the cutter 6%. And then in terms of his changeup, that went down about 8%, as his two-seam in total went up about 5%, as this one inside looks like it gets a piece of the foul ball, and it's or a piece of the bat, and it's ruled a foul ball, even though Dobson thought it was well inside, but he can't believe it, and neither can assistant manager and Brian Kluppe. And here comes Mark Wiedemeyer to really figure things out at the moment. We've mentioned in the past for these games, of course, Mark Wiedemeyer, plenty of experience in this great game of baseball. He has over 35 years of coaching and scouting, including 2 seasons with the Washington Nationals as their defensive positioning coach under Matt Williams. And, of course, in his first season, he was a part of that Washington Nats team that won the division at 99-66, earning the best record in the NL, but did not end up going that much further as they were upset by the Giants back in the first round, who eventually went on to win the World Series. But we're very, very fortunate to have Mark Wiedemeyer in-house here at Jimmy John's Field as Dobson fouls off another one, really trying to battle as you try and get as much opportunity against a guy like Goetze when you thought you had ball 4, but all of a sudden he's that much closer to retiring Dobson, who fights this one off to the right side, right in the exact same spot as the last one.
Yeah, Dobson, another guy in this league with some affiliated experience. Ryan Dobson played, of course, for the Arizona Diamondbacks organization and had pretty good stats last year in short A ball, but once he got moved up, he did struggle in full A.
This one into right, skied into the mitt of Johnson. Long at bat for Dobson, good effort, but in the end, he will be retired for out number 1. Good job from Goetze. First time through the lineup, just the 2 hits allowed, the single from Kemp, the double from Johnson, but most importantly, no runs coming in to score and no inning with multiple hits. So doing a good job so far in this one for Goetze.
And if you're Eastside, you definitely would like to see him go at least 6 or 7. As Rich mentioned earlier in the broadcast, the longest start that he made was that 6 innings, and that was against Birmingham Bloomfield all the way back on May the 19th. So you would like to see him go a few innings here. You used your best 2 relief pitchers last night in the game with Tyler Tamaka and also Raven Martin, and Martin had to throw quite a few innings, and Tamaka struggled, so you're a little bit short as far as the bullpen goes today.
Yeah, in total, Goetze's on the season against Westside. He's got 2 games under his belt as Craig looks at ball 1, brings the count to 1-2. Goetze's in the 2 games. He's got a 1-0 record against Westside, 8 innings pitched in total, just 2 earned runs on 7 hits with 3 walks and 7 strikeouts, as Pat Adams barely having to make a step as that one lined right to him in center field. Outfielders staying fairly busy in this one. That's already the count at 4th flyout of the night, 3rd in a row off the bats of Westside.
And Alec Craig has really been a tough out this year. We haven't really talked about him much tonight, but he came into the game with a 667 batting average, a 750 OBP, 10 for 15 to start his career, but now 10 for 17. So good job by Goetze to retire the leadoff man already twice in this game.
Can't get the first pitch strike to Kemp, who looks at ball 1 to begin this at-bat. Kemp on the day, 1 for 1 with the single down to left on the 2-1 count back in the first. Second pitch swinging. He tries to take this one down the right field line, but running it down. Luke Johnson making the catch look easier than it was as he gets the first out and the last, with the one going to center in between them. It's 3-0 Eastside. We're through 3 at the ballpark on this Friday night. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We head to the fourth inning at Jimmy John's Field. Rich Borland, Leo Ortel back with you. 3-0 Eastside as they put up a 3 spot in the top of the first on a double from Adams, a walk from Jones, a double from Johnson, and a single from Valerio. As speak of the devil, Daniel up at the plate. He's looked at the last pitch. It's 1-1 on the starting left fielder who got the RBI single and then a stolen base back in that first frame. Out there for his fourth inning of work, of course, is Matt Cronin, as the 1-1 slider misses in the dirt away. In total, 56 pitches through the first 3 innings, but he's had just 20 pitches in the last 2 frames. After 36 in the first, been able to manage the pitch count a lot better as the game has gone on, as the 2-1 fouled off by Valerio.
And hopefully Cronin can keep it up here. As, yeah, he did struggle early on into the start, kind of just working out that first game jitters here at Jimmy John's Field. It's always tough on the professional stage, on a big stage here on this Friday night. Probably one of the best crowds that we've had on this first day of summer.
Yeah, the weather clearly playing a part of that, but these Friday nights at Jimmy John's Field, tough to beat if you're in the Metro Detroit area. As Valerio works the count full, see what he can do here. This one hit to the left side, over there to Kemp, scoops that one up on the run, relays it over to Polshan at first for the first out. A clean game thus far, as we haven't seen any errors, hoping to keep it that way, as the first batter of the frame is retired. C.J. Huntley coming up to the plate, 0 for 1 with the ground out to, you guessed it, Kemp.
Yeah, Huntley hasn't had a ton of opportunities. 1 for 10 now is Huntley, so batting 100 this season and entered with just the 250 on base percentage. So Huntley's still looking to make that adjustment, but could be a good bat in this Hoppers lineup. He went to Indiana State University and also local product out of Kalamazoo.
So he looks at ball 1 to begin this at-bat. That one missing inside there from Cronin. This one back up the middle. The shortstop, Dobson, stops it, at least from getting into the outfield. Would have been a really tough play, but you love the effort and the try there from the shortstop. Keeps that one in the infield dirt, but it kind of didn't get in the glove completely as it rolls underneath his body as he gets up and finds it underneath him. As the one-out single will go down in the books there for Huntley. Here comes Tommy Lukongo, 0 for 1 with a swing and miss strikeout in the second on 4 pitches. All of them were strikes. We'll see what he can do here. Mentioned he was 2 for 2 last night with 2 singles, 3 walks, 4 runs scored, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, the catcher with 2 stolen bases to his credit. Hits this one back up the middle. Dobson looking to get some revenge for the ground out there from Huntley, and he does. You had Huntley trying to work the hit and run, and because of it, Dobson shaded towards the middle. That one hit right at him by Lukongo, and it made it an easy play for the shortstop as he retires 2 for 1. And the unconventional 1-2-3 inning retires Eastside in the fourth. We head to the home half. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We head to the home half of the fourth. Rich Borland, Leo Ortel back with you. 40 pitches for Goatsies through 3 as he starts off Sonny Cortez with 2 straight strikes, as he did that back in the first inning and then retired him on the third pitch, which was a breaking ball that Cortez was just frozen up on. And we're almost seeing that here again as he gives a couple of shakes to his catcher, Lacongo, does Goatsies. And you can tell Cortez, with a good recognition of that, calls time to try and load back into the box. The 0-2, breaking ball. Cortez was somewhat ready for it, but Goatsie's going right after the best hitter in the league. You love the battle that we're seeing from the right-hander.
Yeah, you definitely like the approach there from Goatsy. He's already retired him once, looking to do it again.
0-2, that one might have been strike 3, but Lacongo unable to squeeze it. And that might have been the difference. Either way, Goatsy's, when he's missing close. And Cortez recognizing that last pitch to be out just enough, because you know with 2 strikes on him, he's going to be swinging at anything that is a strike, at least for the most part. We didn't see it in the first at-bat, but Cortez, a guy who does not let most things get past him, as the breaking ball there missing, evens the count up at 2-2. Goatsy's right back to work. Change up at 77, took a little bit off of it, and Cortez will swing and miss for the second strikeout of the day for him, but it's out number 1 here in this home half of the fourth.
Yeah, that's a great pitch by Goatsies, who really seems to be using those off-speed pitches a lot more than he usually does, but that really kind of has been his bread and butter as far as strikeouts this year. That low changeup, he usually throws it in the dirt when he gets a strikeout and also uses that curveball effectively, but that's a great pitch to Sonny Cortez, who you could say is one of the best hitters in the league, if not the best.
As Polshan hits a rope down that third baseline. He wanted to say hi to his teammates down in the dugout, but everybody looks to be just fine as he's down in the count 0-1. Mentioned he, of course, the beer batter of the game. If he gets a knock here, he gets some $5 beers for the fans, but does not look like that's going to be the case as Polshan is retired on the pop out to second. Geely easily making the catch right there in the shallow right field area, calling off the first baseman Gray. 2 up and 2 down for Goatsies. He's looking for his second consecutive 1-2-3 frame.
Yeah, so far he's only given up the 2 hits, so he's only faced those 2 batters over the minimum. Dan Williams, a good hitter in this lineup now for Westside after moving over from Utica. He has struggled since entering the lineup here, but comes in with the .316 batting average, among the league leaders.
As Williams fouls off the first try that he sees. Mentioned he's got the 6th best batting average in the league at .316 in his games between Utica and Westside, as the 78-mile-an-hour changeup. We're starting to see Goatsies go more to that compared to his curveball, which he was going with early on in this game. Didn't see as much success with the curveball, so he's electing to go to the changeup as his number 1 go-to in his off-speed pitches. And look at that. Right on cue, he goes with the curveball, but Williams gets just enough of it to stay alive. It's still 0-2.
Yeah, still a great pitch there in the dirt. Hard to believe that Dan Williams did get a piece of it. So maybe he'll go back to a high fastball here, but a lot of options as far as the off-speed pitches, too, with the changeup and curveball.
That one just missing as the count now 1-2 on Williams. A big bat out of UT Tyler, trying to provide some offense for his team, but this one up and in on the batter. Kevin Watley, the 2018 Defensive Player of the Year, makes the catch with ease, and another 1-2-3 frame for Goatsies. He's looking really sharp with just over 50 pitches through 4. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We are through 4 on this Friday night at the ballpark. Matt Cronin back out there for his 5th inning of work. 65 pitches through his first 4 frames. 3 strikeouts, just the 1 walk allowed, as Watley starts this at-bat with a strike and then fouls off the second try, as Cronin looking to get through the order for the second time here tonight. Mentioned the 65 pitches through 4 innings. He's trying to get through at least 5, maybe even 6, depending how this 5th inning goes, as the slider, Watley tried to hold off, kind of that in-between where you're like, oh no, this is going to be strike 3, sticks the bat out kind of half-heartedly, and results in the soft liner to short for out number 1.
Yeah, since that first inning, as we mentioned, Matt Cronin pretty much cruising here. He got that double play to end last inning. He's given up just a pair of singles in the 3rd and 4th. Since that first inning, sent him down 1-2-3 in the second. He's got 2 strikeouts, both of them. 3 strikeouts, 2 of them coming in that second inning. But hasn't had one since that second. Yeah, but still, Cronin really seems to be turning it around out there.
Yeah, sort of just maybe that first inning jitters, getting your first pro start here at Jimmy John's Field, as he clearly doesn't seem phased against a guy like Pat Adams in this at-bat. We'll see how he can fare the 3rd time through the lineup, because always talk about that topic of conversation. It's always that 3rd time through where batters kind of start to get to you as they recognize what you have to offer, and especially in a night like tonight where these guys have not seen this pitcher yet, but now they understand that he's got really just 2 fastballs and that 1 off-speed pitch, as the 1-2, back door at 81, can't get it to go, as Jackson Smith has to slide to the left and keep that one in the vicinity.
Yeah, it's tough, too, when you only have a slider as an off-speed pitch, especially against a left-handed hitter. He tried to drop it in the back door there. It's something that's really tough to drop in the front door in on the hands, so looks like he'll go back to the fastball right there, and he gets him swinging.
As Adams doesn't do that all too often, retired for out number 2 here in this top of the 5th. And Cronin, say we take out those 2 singles in the 3rd and the 4th. Except for those 2, he's retired. Let's just do the math here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of his last 13 batters he has retired safely, going all the way back to the 3rd out of the 1st inning, as Jones looks at called strike 1. Mentioned Cronin in his time as this one. Over to the shortstop. Dobson somehow gets that ball in the leather and then takes it over to first to Polshan, who completes the putout. Really good defense. All around good stuff here tonight at Jimmy John's Field. We head to the home half of the 5th. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We head to the home half of the fifth. Rich Borland, Leo Ortel, back with you here on the USPBL YouTube channel. Friday night here at the ballpark. Teacher Appreciation Night, of course. That presented to us by our good friends at Oakland University School of Education and Human Services. Fireworks spectacular coming at the end of this one as the second pitch to Javon Shelby misses away as he started off 0-1. Noah Goetze's back to work for his fifth inning. 53 pitches through 4, 35 of them for strikes, a darn good ratio as he's got 3 strikeouts, but none since the count it. Or excuse me, he did have 1 in the 4th, but 2 in the first, 1 in the 4th. Overall, Noah Goetze is pretty much on cruise control, just allowing the single to Kemp in the first, the double to Johnson in the second. And, of course, as I say that, Javon Shelby taking this one for a ride, and that's going to be a long home run as the Mammoths get on the board as Javon Shelby gets his count at 3rd home run of the season, providing the power. First of the night for Westside as they are on the board. It's 3-1.
And really up until this point, we haven't seen much offensively from the Mammoths, who had just the 2 singles. The Mammoths, who really have turned themselves into the best offensive team in this league, coming in with their .273 team batting average and 11 home runs, have really been carried by that offensive all season. But Javon Shelby with his 3rd of the year after getting the rest in the last game. So, good sign for him.
So here comes Will Johnson, who doubled back in that second inning. The only batter to reach scoring position before Shelby hit that one out of the park just a moment ago. But the combination of Shelby and Johnson after Dan Williams, that's a tough trio sort of halfway through this lineup. But no dice there for Johnson on the 0-1. Pops that one up into foul territory as Zachary Gray comes in to make the catch for out number 1. So here comes Jackson Smith. 0 for 1 on the night. The Salem, Oregon native flew out to center to end the second inning. Did not start in that game on Wednesday against Utica, but did pinch hit for Barbie after Barbie had 3 hits. So something that was really a question as this first pitch to Jackson Smith swung on and missed, but Smith in his place went 1 for 2 with a single as he's got that .306 batting average through his time, as he's got 11 starts under his belt, 15 hits and 49 at-bats, as the 0-1 misses away, count now even.
And looking from top to bottom, it really is a deadly lineup for the Mammoths. And even without the bats of Jake Barbie and Ethan Whisker, a lot of guys that have really done a lot of damage this season. We haven't seen a ton from the Mammoths tonight, but maybe some production will happen the rest of the game. Good sign from Shelby, and as we approach the 3rd time around the order with Craig coming up soon, we'll see how the Mammoths will fare against Goetze.
Breaking ball, you see Smith well out in front of it. That's a great pitch from Goetze as Smith down 1-2 in this count. Taking a look at these battles against the Westside Woolly Mammoths. Alec Craig was ahead in the count and behind in a count in his 2 at-bats. As this one, inside part of the plate, Jackson Smith will get rung up on strikes as Lukongo looked like he was about to head to the dugout.
Yeah.
But he puts up the 2 there after the leadoff home run from Shelby, getting the Mammoths on the board. We'll figure out exactly the dimensions of that last shot. It went pretty far. It was high up in the air as well.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see the launch angle of that one. As Dobson, the shortstop, lines out to his counterpart. Of course, that being Kevin Watley on 1 pitch. He ends up 0 for 2 to start his night. Javon Shelby's solo shot gets the Mammoths on the board, but then Goetze retires 3 straight. We are through 5 at the ballpark. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We head to the 6th inning here at the ballpark on this Friday night. Rich Borland, Leo Ortel with you. Javon Shelby getting Westside on the board in the home half of the 5th with a leadoff home run. Really the only bump in the road for Noah Goetze in this one tonight. His 3rd hit allowed through 5 innings. And then his counterpart, how about this Matt Cronin? Had 36 pitches through the 1st inning of work and faced off against 7 batters, but he's only at 75 through 5. He's been tremendous after that 1st inning start to his USPBL career, but he's settled in, he's gotten comfortable, and since that 1st inning, he's only allowed 2 singles. Nothing else as he gets in here on Zach Gray. The 2-1 misses low as Gray on the night 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a line out to left as the sun starts to set here on this Friday night. Matt Cronin really settling in, getting better with time, but no close call there as that one misses the zone. Leadoff walk, they're never good. We'll see if that comes back to haunt Cronin in this instance with, of course, a right-hander getting loose out there in the left field bullpen.
Yeah, 3 out of the last 4 innings for Matt Cronin have gone down 1-2-3 in the books. One of them was a unconventional 1-2-3 inning with the Tommy Lucago double play to end the 4th. So if he wants to go 1-2-3 unconventional here, he'll have to roll a double play ball. But that's Brennan Price out there in that left field pen getting loose. But Cronin trying to at least go one more inning here in his USPBL debut.
As Luke Johnson starts his at-bat off 0-1. Doubled in 2 runs in that 1st inning and then came in to score on the single from Valerio. So Luke Johnson, a big part of the night for Eastside, being a part of all 3 of the runs as he's down 0-2 on that swing and miss. Cronin dialing in after that leadoff walk. Doesn't want to have any more mistakes there, but this one taken for a ride at 79 miles an hour. Left up in the zone on the 0-2. Never good. So you get the leadoff walk and then an 0-2 knock. Cronin definitely has to puzzle this together as Geely comes up to the plate 0 for 2 with the ground out and the fly out, but a consistent hitter as he's got the 2nd best batting average on Eastside.
And we've seen him kind of flip-flop in the lineup. He has been batting in the 5 spot the last couple of games. We've seen him in the 2 spot and the 9 spot, so Geely can bat anywhere in the order, and definitely surprising to see him 0 for 2 tonight. Like you mentioned, with that 294 average, Rich, which is good for 2nd on the team behind Pat Adams.
Geely trying to get above 300 tonight. He's got to have a couple of more knocks to get that to happen. As this one misses upstairs, but you saw Geely show bunt for a second, but he pulled back early enough. That one nowhere near the strike zone as Geely might not see another pitch from Cronin, but instead a meeting of the minds on the mound as Kluppy, the assistant manager, going out there to try and calm his boys down. Of course, Kluppy, he's got some winning experience as he was the youngest manager in professional baseball, just 28 years old. He won the Pecos League Championship with the Bakersfield Train Robbers in 2018. And I bet you a really big part of that, Sonny Cortez.
Yeah, that's right.
Who, of course, was on that team at the forefront of that lineup as well. Cortez mentioned the .412 batting average coming into play tonight, the best in the league. And we're hoping he stays above 400 all year. Wouldn't that be something?
Definitely. So it looks like for now, Matt Cronin's going to stay in this game. We'll see if Geely lays down a bunt as the first baseman Polshin and Ryan Kemp are playing in.
And I'm talking well in. Is Polshin, as Geely almost gets that one past him down the line. It's almost as if Polshin was in too much.
A little bit, and you saw the second baseman, Alec Craig, charging over as fast as he could, also with some good speed. He probably would have cut that off, but a good try by Geely. Outfield playing in as well, in case Geely decides to pull back the bunt attempt and try to slap a single into the outfield.
So the count 1-1. on the batter. Cronin desperately looking for a ground ball that could lead to 2. This one back up the middle, and look at the heads-up play there from the guy in his USPBL debut. That's something where you just react. You can't really teach that, as maybe some communication helped him as well. We, of course, couldn't hear it, but without any hesitation, Cronin picks that baseball up, rifles it over to third, and it was about right where you wanted it, as he gets the lead runner in the situation. So technically that bunt from Geely go down the books as a fielder's choice instead of a sacrifice, and he can't get the job done. We'll see if it'll be Valerio who can come through. Already 1 for 2 on the night with a single, a RBI, and a stolen base.
Credit to the Mammoths defense there. Matt Cronin helping out himself. Keeps it first and second with 1 down. Valerio comes into this at bat, 1 for 2 with the RBI single all the way back in the first.
Looks at called strike 1 to begin this plate appearance, and it looks as if Cronin, if he can get through this 6th, I'm guessing that'll be his night. He had 75 pitches coming into this frame, so for our sake and for Westside's sake, you want to keep this game close, but most importantly, see your starter go the 6th innings, get that quality start under your belt, as he's trying to deal with Valerio already down 0-1. A long look to second. This ball hit over there to the hot corner, and Kemp over there to the second baseman. Craig over to Pulshan at first. A double play, and Cronin gets out of the jam. Most likely his night is done, even though he leaves the game with the 2-run deficit. A really good job after that first inning of work, and a very positive note there for Mark Wiedemeyer as we head to the home half of the 6th. 3-1 Eastside. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We head to the home half of the 6th. Eastside out in front by a score of 3-1. Courtesy of the man on the bump there, Noah Goetze. His only blemish on the night, the leadoff home run from Javon Shelby in the last inning, as we see the top of the order due up here in the home half of the 6th. Alec Craig, Ryan Kemp, Sonny Cortez, a combined 1 for 6 on the night between the three, as the 1-1 looked good, must have missed just inside, as Craig gets the favorable 2-1 count, but he's 0 for 2 on the night, and if your name's Pat Adams, you better be ready for something, as he's flown out and lined out to the Warren, Michigan native, as that one missing outside. Home plate umpire Rob Lothian kind of squeezing Goetze. It looks as if those last couple of pitches, respectively on the inner and outer thirds, look good, but not given the benefit of the doubt, as the 3-1 misses low. And that's a leadoff walk, something that we have rarely said for Goetze, as for the second consecutive inning, first batter makes something happen, as he had been able to retire the leadoff batter in all 4 innings going into the 5th, but starting to unravel just a bit. If he can get Ryan Kemp retired, though, he'll be right back to cruise control, as Kemp on the night in total, 1 for 2. Singled to left in the first, but flew out to right down the line when Luke Johnson ran it down into the corner on the fly. Over there on first is Craig. Mentioned Craig on the season as this one's popped up out of play. Craig 5 for 5 already on the base pass, and he's giving Ryan Dobson a run for his money.
Yeah, and you mentioned the numbers to this top of the lineup coming into the inning. None of them had reached base yet, and that's really how Goatees has been able to be effective. And look out for Craig on the base pass, 47 of 48 his senior year at Chestnut Hill College. And when I was talking to him before the game the other day, I was kind of asking him, speed's definitely an underrated part of the game, and how do you kind of use it to your advantage? And Craig just loves stealing bases. Not going to be able to steal one right here.
This one into left center field. Patrick Adams, what can he not do?
Man, oh man.
That one robbing Ryan Kemp with the line out. He had robbed Craig already once tonight, but Kemp at the disadvantage there. It hung up for just long enough as Pat Adams had to go fully extended there. Lays out there for the catch for out number 1.
I've really seen some good defensive plays, not just the pitchers getting the job done, but the defense backing him up there, and you keep Alec Craig out of scoring position, but you can still see Goatees trying to keep those tabs on him as Craig swiped almost 98% of the bases that he attempted to steal in 2018 at Chestnut Hill College. So he did take a year off, and I kind of talked to Craig about that too. He kind of just worked on his swing during that year off, took some time to rest up, and it has paid off for him as he's really had a good start to his career here with the USPBL.
Sonny Cortez, speaking of a good start to your USPBL career, looks at ball 1 to start off this at-bat. Craig's going to definitely get kept notice over there. The thing is, I wonder if Goatees knows how many stolen bases he has, as that one a lot closer over there at first. It's something that you don't necessarily focus on. You're trying to worry more about not allowing the batters to get on base, but you wonder if it's something that Goatees studies, if he looks at the stats and sees who, can do the damage on the base pass. As this one back up the middle, Goatees takes this one off of him, as Cortez will be retired for the 3rd straight time, but he could have went to second to try and get the lead runner, but he ends up playing the safe route, gets the out that he knew was going to be guaranteed, as Cortez moves Craig into scoring position. But a night where Sonny Cortez is hitless, and we're here in the 6th inning. I don't know if we've seen that yet this year.
I don't think we have, and maybe we've seen a few nights where he's only reached on a walk, but Cortez usually finds some way to get on base over 50% of the time this year. But kind of back to the conversation about keeping tabs on Craig as far as stolen bases, maybe something that Goatees doesn't really personally think about too much. Maybe it's a role of Paul Noche or one of the other assistant coaches for the Hoppers, where it's something that maybe they mentioned in the pregame meeting. If Craig gets on base, you better watch out for him. So that's something where the coaches can definitely have a big factor. We oftentimes think about, the players only having a big factor because obviously they're going to control what's out there, but the coach definitely has an underrated big impact on the game as well.
So Pulsion, your beer batter of the game. He's in his 3rd at-bat, which means this is the last at-bat of the promotion. So he needs a knock here. Already 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a pop-out on the night, as the 1-1 misses upstairs just at 78 on the gun. As Pulsion with a favorable hitter's count, as he's the tying run up at the plate. Does have 1 home run on the season, but that average has crept up.
It really has.
I mean, it's at 340. He's got the 4th best batting average in the league, and we have not really talked about that a lot this year. It's been all Pat Adams. Sonny Cortez as this one taken for a ride out to left. Daniel Valerio at the wall, but you can forget about it. 2nd home run of the season for Jake Pulshan, and boy, does he come up in the clutch. Down by 2, delivers for his team in the clutch, as it's a 3-3 ball game on Jake Pulshan's 2nd home run of the season.
Man, and just looking at the start overall for Goatees, 2 pitches that he wished he could have back, but that's the thing about baseball. Sometimes that's all it takes. And coming into this start, Goatees had given up just 3 extra base hits, all of them being doubles, so surrendering his first 2 home runs of the season to this Westside Woolly Mammoths lineup that really has become the best offense in the USPBL this year. So the Mammoths, who struggled kind of early on in the season, they're still in 4th place in the league coming into the game with their 6-11 record, but putting together a pretty good win streak led by their offense. And now Paul Nochi out to talk to Goatsy and Tommy Lucago.
So it doesn't look like he's pulling him just yet. Sort of a conversation where it's been a tough inning here in this sixth inning, coming into the frame with 63 pitches. So we're guessing that this will be the inning in the game for Noah Goatsy after that long fly ball. Second home run he's allowed tonight. And that's kind of the story of the evening. He's pitched really well. Just 2 mistakes, one to Shelby and now one to Pulshan. And for a guy who doesn't throw a lot of walks, had just the 4 walks to the 20 strikeouts coming into tonight. With that leadoff walk to Craig, it comes back to haunt him as Pulshan delivers with 2 outs to tie this game up at 3. Speaking of power, here's Dan Williams, who takes a healthy cut on the 1-0 pitch as Goatsy brings that changeup in for strike 1. Williams on the night, a ground out and a pop out, once to first and then one to short. Hits this one hard down the first base line. It goes foul as he's down now 1-2. Williams on the season, the 6th best batting average at .316, 7th best on base percentage at .422. Trying to make something happen on the 1-2 pitch, but he won't, as this one over there to the first baseman, Zachary Gray, gets the unassisted put out for the 3rd and final out. But Jake Pulshan delivering for Westside. We're all knotted up at 3 as we head to the 7th. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We are through 6 at Jimmy John's Field. Rich Borland, Leo Ortel back with you. Eastside with 3 runs in the top of the first, but the Mammoths getting to Noah Goatsy with the long ball towards the end of his day. Javon Shelby with a solo shot in the 5th, and then Jake Pulshan delivering with the 2-run home run, 2nd of the season for him, as he ties this game up at 3 through 6 as the day is done for Mr. Cronin. Matt Cronin going the 6 innings through 88 pitches. After 36 in his first inning of work, he allowed in total just 3 earned runs on 6 hits, 2 walks to 4 strikeouts. Not a bad start there for the D3 product coming in, making his USPBL debut. Got through the rough first inning, but cruised his night throughout after that as he allowed just, count 'em, 3 hits after that first inning and did not allow any runs after it either. So he's been able to quiet down Eastside's offense after that first frame as C.J. Huntley leads the way for Eastside, but right on cue, he ends up striking out looking on the 1-2 pitch. A good start there for the man on the bump. Let's tell our fans a little bit more about Mr. Brennan Price, the big fella out there with the right hand.
Yeah, Brennan Price has had kind of a tough start to his season, and he's a guy that does have affiliated experience with the Toronto Blue Jays organization as well as the Milwaukee Brewers organization as well, as this one is popped shallow into the infield.
Ryan Kemp is the man to call off his teammates. You see Price with a nice little grin there for his catcher, Jackson Smith. He thought about it, but he knew much better to let his defenders defend, and he gets out of the way as he retires Lukongo on the first pitch and ends up going in the books as the pop out to third. 2 up and 2 down for Brennan Price. Nice start to his night as he'll deal with Kevin Watley.
And really back into Price this season, walks have really been the main thing that he needs to work on as he works towards the midpoint of this season. 11 innings pitched. He's given up 8 walks and also hit 2 batters. He does have the 10 strikeouts, make it 11 now after he struck out Huntley on the look. But Price can definitely be effective when he finds the strike zone. He's only given up 10 hits, which is good for .238 opponent batting average against. And really, walks were the problem for him in affiliated ball as well. Looking sharp here against Kevin Watley.
Yeah, that ERA sitting at 7.36 through the 10 relief outings, and he's gotten better pretty much with every one. He started off really tough to start this season, but outing after outing in relief, it seems as if we're seeing a better version of Brennan Price. And
definitely.
If he can use that size and stature to his best ability, it could be a very, very helpful piece to this second half of Westside's season as we're creeping up a bit on the halfway point. Got the All-Star game coming up in just a couple of weeks. It's crazy to think that we're almost at the end of June here on this summer solstice as Watley fouls off a pitch there on the 0-2, but Price is looking locked in. Just the one ball thrown so far in this inning, and that was to C.J. Huntley right before he struck him out looking for out number 1. Looking for his 1-2-3 frame is Price, the 0-2. Change up at 83, looked good, but home plate umpire Lothian, he's been consistent, not given much on the out or on the inside part of the plate. And Watley takes the look at that one to stay alive for at least one more. Price, the set, the kick, the push, the slider away at 82. Good eye there from Watley. So if you're Price in this situation, the fastball's been pretty much strikes. Off speed for the most part has not, outside of that swing and miss on the changeup. The 2-2, fastball, 893. One shortstop, hits it to another, and that's the arm strength there from Dobson. He's not a big guy, but he's got a lot as he throws that one from his back foot to take out Watley for the third and final out. A strikeout, a pop-out, and a ground-out. Retire Eastside in the 7th. We had to stretch time. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We are into the home half of the 7th here at Jimmy John's Field, all knotted up at 3 as the day is done for Noah Goetzies. Not a bad start in his 6th try of the year as this one back up the middle, and Freddie Geely, the short-statured second baseman, getting up there, making the catch as he leapfrogs his way for out number 1. Back up the middle, Javon Shelby robbed of a base knock up the middle, and that goes to the credit there of Nochi as he lines that one back up the middle. Geely placed perfectly as the one pitch retires Shelby on 1 out. But real quick, Noah Goetzies goes the 6 innings, 79 pitches as he allows 3 earned runs on 4 hits. In total, had just the 1 walk, which led to the 2-run shot for Jake Polshan, as he did have 4 strikeouts in his day, as Will Johnson stands in for the 3rd time tonight. Looks at a couple of pitches, 1 for a ball, 1 for a strike. For the new arm out of the bullpen, that, of course, is Bradley Tout out of Highlands Ranch, Colorado. The 1-1 line down left, but it stays foul.
Yeah, Bradley Tout made his public USPBL debut last week against the Utica Unicorns back on Sunday the 16th, and it was a good start for him. 6 innings pitched, only 3 hits, 2 earned runs, did not walk any batters, and he struck out 4. Tout comes to us from Highlands Ranch, Colorado, and played last year with the Lincoln Salt Dogs in the American Association, so he has played some professional ball, but off to a great start this season in 2 starts, as Tout has a 2.65 ERA, 4 walks to 17 strikeouts over 17 innings. Opponents hitting just .206 against him.
And you see there part of the reason, keeps that ball hidden for a long time, brings it home, and you saw the try from Johnson, sort of that half-hearted swing, as he was in between the decision of holding back and going through, but cannot stay back on it, and that goes to show you the kind of stuff that Bradley Tout has as he gets 2 straight outs here in this home half of the 7th, as we were looking for our 7th run of the game. We'll see exactly who's going to be able to deliver it as Jackson Smith looks at ball 1 to begin his AB. That one missing inside. Smith on the night 0 for 2 with a fly out to center and then a strikeout looking. That was back in the 5th as you see him swing on the 79-mile-an-hour pitch in the dirt. Evens it up at 1-1.
And the Mammoths coming into this inning have just the 4 hits, 2 of them being the home runs. And they do have some bench players to use as Ethan Whisker is on the bench, as well as Jake Barbie tonight. So maybe look for them to have a plate appearance later in the game as a pinch hitter. But really it's been mostly pitching in this game so far.
This one in the dirt, ricocheting what looked to be off of Lukongo's foot. And then going into the netting over to our right, looking like we need a baseball. As Tout trying to work quickly against Smith. This count goes to 2-1. Tout's ready to go. We just need a couple of baseballs in case this one is unable to stay in the field of play. Is the 2-1 to Smith. This one hit hard over to the first baseman. It ricochets off his glove. Geely trying to make up for it, as it was a good job of Tout to cover over there at first. It was a hard hit ball, but I got to imagine that this one will go down in the books as an error from first, but I can kind of see it from either way, so we'll wait to officially see what they rule it. Nothing just yet up on the big screen.
Definitely a hard hit ball. Either way, a play that Zachary Gray does have to make. He has kind of looked uncomfortable over there at first base so far in this game, so would have been a 1-2-3 inning for your reliever Bradley Tout, but instead goes to the 9-hitter Ryan Dobson, who will look for his first hit tonight.
They officially rule it as an E3. So a play that Gray should have made, as Dobson standing in now, over 2 on the night. A fly out to right, a line out to left, and it looks like he's going to stay in the air. As this one over to Geely. He calls everybody off. He can't help out his first baseman Gray on the error there from him to retire Smith, but he comes through and retires Dobson for out number 3 as the error goes unblemished. We head to the 8th. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We are through 7 here on this Friday night at Jimmy John's Field. Teacher Appreciation Night, Fireworks Friday Spectacular, as Brennan Price was pretty spectacular in that 7th inning. Goes in order. In the 7th is the newcomer. That, of course, Jake Davis. He throws the 100th pitch of the night for the staff for Westside. As pitch 101, he sticks his hands up in the air because he didn't know where that one missed. But in total, Price goes the inning, throws 11 pitches, no runs, no hits, no walks, 1 strikeout. About as efficient as you could have been, as the left-hander Jake Davis, he's behind in the count 2-0 to Pat Adams as he fouls this one off here. It's 2-1.
Jake Davis, the left-hander out of Cypress, Texas, started at Southeastern Mississippi University, ended up transferring to St. Edwards, and he pitched last year in the Frontier League with the Evansville Otters. 8 1/3 innings, 9.72 ERA, 14 strikeouts, pretty good numbers there, but he did walk 7 batters, so walks were a problem for him last year, and so far this year definitely have not been a problem. 7 2/3 with just 1 walk, 8 strikeouts, and a 3.52 ERA, so a good start here for Jake Davis in the USPBL. And the Westside William is definitely happy to have a lefty in their pen.
How about the play there from Alec Craig? You saw Jake Polshan sort of go off the bag for a second, but then realized that would have had a better chance for his second baseman to make the play. Good recognition there for the first baseman, as Adams is retired for the 3rd straight time after his leadoff double that started this game off. Started the 3 runs for Eastside in the first, but he's been cold since, as Wesley Jones standing in, 1 for 2 with a single, a ground out, reached on a walk, had a stolen base, and came in to score in that first inning. As he holds off on the first pitch, it's 1-0. But yes, Jake Davis trying to make a name for himself in his 6th outing in relief on the season. Polshan gets it this time, as he'll take this one unassisted, as Davis, looking sharp, retires the left-hander Adams over to the right side, and the righty Jones to the right side as well on a couple of groundouts. Zachary Gray trying to not complete the trifecta of groundouts, as he's 0 for 2 on the night with a strikeout looking, a line out to left, but did walk on 5 pitches to lead off the 6th inning. But he was taken out at 3rd on that heads-up play by the starter Cronin in his last inning of work. He sacrificed bunt try from Freddie Geely as Gray looks at the ball 1.
And a good call by Mark Wiedemeyer to turn the ball over to a lefty in this situation. 2 out of the 3 batters, if he can send them down 1, 2, 3, that Jake Davis will face are lefties, so he's already retired Jones, and it looks like he's going to get another lefty right here.
This one into shallow center field. Dobson calls off the center fielder Cortez. The Hoppers go down in order in the 8th. We head to the home half. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Rich Borland, Leo Ortel here with you as Bradley Tout heads back out for his second inning of work. It took him just 11 pitches to get through the 4 batters in the home half of the 7th, as he'll deal with the top of the order here in this 8th. Alec Craig, Ryan Kemp, Sonny Cortez, as Tout starts Craig off with 2 pitches out of the zone, the man who walked in his last plate appearance. The 2-0 off-speed pitch at 79 in there for called strike 1. So we'll take a quick look and see if Tout elects to go to more off-speed here in this inning, as the fastball missed on 2 straight to Craig to start. The 2-1, that one's in the dirt. It's now 3-1 as he's trying to get his second consecutive walk, but most importantly, his second consecutive leadoff walk, as he's trying to be the base runner that separates Westside from Eastside in this later stage of the game. The 3-1 missing inside, so the leadoff man is on. Back-to-back walks for Alec Craig, and we'll see if Ryan Kemp can make something happen behind him, as Tout looks like it's his inning to get going. As I take a quick look down that right field bullpen area, everybody's sitting down. A couple of guys in jerseys, a couple in those awesome hoodies that you can purchase at either one of our merchandise decks over down the right field line in the right field patio area, and then one down the third base line on the concourse. Is Kemp showing bunt early but pulls back, but I think he's going to go back with the bunt. And, of course, that's why I'm sitting up here. As Kemp looks at called strike 1. Good job